Hello, listeners, and welcome back to episode 5. I cannot believe we've had 5 episodes. That actually blows my mind. Super pumped to be here today. I'm very excited to be here with Shanae. Shanae owns Tiny Tatts here on the Sunshine Coast. She's also a mum, and her business is fucking cool. And I'm super excited to have her here to share her business and her values and her morals around why she actually started her business. Just quickly with me, I've had a hectic month leading up to coming back to record this episode. I've got a lot going on with my businesses, so I think that's a whole podcast episode in itself. On the train with Thrifter, we're actually opening Brisbane Thrifter on the 1st of July. Super excited about that. And we are moving into an extra space in Noosa and bringing the Sunshine Coast Thrifter Junior, which is where you will find newborn to teen clothing, pre-loved, and you can come and rent a rack there. So check out our website at thrifter.au. So welcome, Shanae.
Hello.
Hello.
Thank you.
Welcome. Now, how did we meet?
Great question. How did we meet?
Did I just
I
come
think
in
it was
one
just
day for a
randomly
tattoo?
via socials. I think we just started following each other, and then you were
Love
just
that.
like, "Hey, I want to get in last minute, make it happen."
That's right.
And I was like, "No,
No, got a wait list, babe. Not
I'm
for
sorry.
you.
You're
6
great,
months.
but doesn't matter who you are. Even my best friend can't get in last minute, so."
I love it. You'd get that all the time, though. Hey, can I get a tattoo today? No, babe. No,
Yeah.
gotta wait.
Yeah,
Which is cool because your business is pumping and
great problem to have.
great problem to have. That's what kind of problems we want in this day and age. So tell us a little bit about you and your journey and what brought you to where you are today, because where you are now is pretty phenomenal. Like, I love walking into your studio. It's stunning to look at when you walk through the doors. The girls
That's
make
just
it
me. And she's modest.
The girls make it such a beautiful environment to be in. Everyone that walks in there is happy and leaves happy.
Yeah, and that's really important, but also making sure that's a genuine feeling and a genuine connection as well, because I feel like a lot of places, it's easy to fake that, but you can only fake that for a certain time. So that's where it's really important to have those genuine connections with people and genuine connections within the workplace and the staff and how we all sort of connect together. And
You're
that's
very good
really,
at that.
Thank
Very
you.
good at that.
Yeah.
So tell us about Tiny Tatts. Where can we find you? What is it? What's somebody going to expect if they come to your business?
So Tiny Tatts Co. is specialises in fine line, tiny tattoos. There is an element, though, we don't just do the tiny tattoos, so some people can get confused with that. We do get the question like, "Oh, would you do like a bigger tattoo?" Like, yes, we can. But it's more about the fact that so many people, especially first-timers, want to start with something little. And they just feel a bit intimidated with some of the mainstream studios and can sort of walk in asking for a little heart on the wrist and get looked at like, "That's not a fucking tattoo." Well, yeah, it's on my body forever, so it kind of is. So it's more about just creating that safe space where you can come in, ask for something small, not be intimidated by it, wear the numbing cream, like we're not going to judge you. Everyone's got different pain thresholds and just really creating that safe space where you can come in, get those little tattoos, and they're actually true fine line tattoos. It's not just a traditional tattooist with a smaller needle. There's actually a technique involved
And
in
men
fine line.
and women come to your space.
Absolutely. So we do predominantly have, so we're female based in regards to the staff. I wanted to create a safe space within the industry for female tattooists because within any industry there can be a lot of toxic traits within industries. And so found it really, really important to be able to celebrate being a woman in the tattoo industry and be able to come in, feel safe and happy and bubbly and not have to feel that you need to stereotype your personality to fit the industry, but rather stay true to who you are.
I love that. It's sometimes like for women going to an all-female gym.
Yeah.
it might create a space where you just feel completely comfortable, and that's really lovely that you've done that.
And we open to everyone, so we definitely do have males that come in as well. We also get a lot of like amazing couples tattoos, and it's so fun. But it's interesting because even when we have some of the guys come in and they sort of go, oh, okay, like it's not the general space that you would consider to go in and get a tattoo, because it feels more day spa like boutique sort of feel. But I feel like that's half the fun as well.
Yeah, I love that. I walk in and I'm just like, I'm here, and I just sit on that couch and go, oh, it's so nice here. There's a whole bowl of lollies too if you ever go.
Oh, gotta have your sugar hits.
So tell me, so you've told us about your business. Were you always keen to do tattoos? Like, where did you start?
The industries that I've been in out of high school, I've always been in the beauty industry, in and out of it. I've dabbled in other industries. I've been a bartender. I've been in retail. I've been a finance and business manager.
Wow.
Yeah.
How official for you.
I know, right?
You're not official.
It
like
didn't
that.
suit.
No, it didn't suit, no.
But it was really important to me working within different industries where, like, you know me now, my personality can be a lot.
I love it. I love a lot.
But I've always been told that it was too much. And if I was to own my own business, I would change the way that I do things because it's not professional in the way that you talk. And I'm like, just because you talk a certain way doesn't mean that you're not professional. To me, professionalism is in the service you provide, the space you provide, not in talking like you have a stick up your ass. So I think that you can still have personality and have fun. And it's crazy when you just talk and might lack a filter. There's never anything off the table. But the genuine connections you can get from that with staff, with clients, and all of a sudden you're talking because people are people.
I feel like you're my sister, and like really, truly, and it's because of your personality, I would say. Like when you interact with someone.
Was I the good twin or the bad twin?
You're the best. Look, given my current life choices at the moment, you're the best.
Hey, girl, your current life choices, I'm here on your podcast, so I think you're going okay.
Okay. I'll take that. But no, it's as if you just break down walls straight away with having that ability to not care what you say.
Yeah, I think it comes from, I've had a lot of shit experiences in life, like definitely lots of trauma there to dig into, but I think where you choose to then, I've definitely had the point of being the victim in that. But where you have a choice of staying the victim or doing the work to get out of that, that's where the choice differs. And coming from that, I have been in really dark places before. And being on the other side and sort of going, I don't understand how I was there at that point. But being able to talk about that openly, I feel like just breaks down that barrier and creates a safe space to be like, oh, okay, well, I don't have to have my shit together all the time.
And it still means I'm a normal human fucking being.
Yes. So I feel like there's just too much stigma around what it is to be successful.
Yeah.
And successful doesn't mean you have your shit together. I feel like most successful people are just a basket case.
100%. I could not agree more with you.
That's why we have so many
Britney
random
Spears,
ideas.
shake your head, like, come on, guys.
Yes, who could rock that, Britney? So be like Britney. Well, to a point.
Yeah, to a point.
To a point.
Okay, so you were always in the beauty industry.
Yeah. So I was.
And what led you to tattoos?
Well, funny enough, I used to have a needle phobia. I know, tattooist with a needle phobia. Yeah. So I then we had 2 kids very quickly. That was not a planned situation. That was that was a situation of okay, I agreed to one. And then 2 months later, found out we're pregnant with the second one. First date night back on the horse. Did not listen to the instructions. So that very quickly led me to having 2 chosen cesareans back to back. And with being pregnant back to back and very sick back to back with both pregnancies, I had a lot of blood tests, a lot of things happen. I had one lady that was allowed to give me blood tests on the coast. That was it. Literally would pass out in these blood tests, couldn't do needles. And it was after the second one, I went back to get a blood test one day and she just sat there, poked me, and I was just chit-chatting away, blah, blah, blah. She was like, who are you? I went, I don't know. But I'd always been in the beauty industry doing waxing, tinting, lash lifts, all that sort of stuff. So then I went, oh, maybe I could be a cosmetic tattooist. So I was actually first and foremost a cosmetic tattooist before doing body art tattooing.
Can you explain to our listeners what that is?
So cosmetic tattooing, brows, eyeliner, lips. Just facial
Just facials.
tattooing.
Yeah.
That is where I started originally. And I decided after having a lot of shit bosses in different industries that there was a better way to do it and to have those genuine connections. And I went, clearly I'm just not supposed to have a boss. Also having 2 young kids, I needed to have the flexibility to do my own hours. So I also very quickly knew stay-at-home mum was not my jam. Something I can talk very openly about is that I have struggled with parenting, one of the biggest challenges ever.
I love that you just shared that, because when I first became a mum, I was 26 when I fell pregnant, 27 when I had Luca. No one spoke about this.
Yes, both Lucas.
I know.
I have
so
Luca,
weird.
Luca, something in the name.
I just think that no one spoke about that. And being a stay-at-home mum could have quite easily drowned me into... I don't know if you've seen that show, but there's a vision of her and she's sitting on the couch. She's a cleaner. I forget what the show is. It's on Netflix. She's a single mum to this young little girl and she's a cleaner. And there's this scene where she's sinking into the couch and her daughter's there and there's just shit flying everywhere. And I was like, that was me as a stay-at-home mum. That's why I chose to go back and do my master's degree, because I was like, I need something that's going to fulfill my need of wanting to be more than just
I'm a better
wiping
parent when
bums
I'm not parenting.
Yes, same.
I have so much more patience and I have very little of it to begin with. But yeah, it definitely, I'm too busy in the mind, and there's just too many variables with kids that just don't work with my control issues.
You never know how to take them. And we've got, I'd say, a high needs child each.
Yeah, very neurodiverse, typical, not
Luca
typical
had
at
an
all.
absolute meltdown, and that's why I was here on the dot of 9 o'clock this morning, because she was melting down about her socks and the way that her socks felt. Anyway.
They feel that deep. They almost feel that as much as I feel hangry.
Yes,
There's just these deep emotions that you go, I understand that this is probably not the right emotion right now, but it's just what I feel.
So staying at home with your babies wasn't for you. What did you do?
Well, my husband also at that point was working FIFO, so he'd always been FIFO. Then I was just in I thought I had postnatal depression. And I got to a point where I was just so low. And it was actually my husband that went, I need you to go see someone.
I'm worried.
Yeah, very worried. And
What signs did he see, if you don't mind me asking?
Never mind asking. I just had no emotional connection to anything. I didn't care about anything, but I would make myself busy doing all the things around the house to not have to deal with the children. So I just felt like I had no connection there. And even he and I, I was very, very low. I would just break down, or I would just be completely numb. There was not really any highs.
Did you find yourself sleepy and tired, or?
Yeah, I felt like that was just a lot to do with being a parent of having two, there's 14 months between my boys.
Yeah.
And I thought that was just, I thought that was maybe just normal,
training.
but apparently not. So there's definitely that element of being tired, being a parent, of course, but just, lethargic, did not want to do anything at all.
And from there, how did I talk about my experience as I was in the hole and I literally crawled myself back out?
Yeah, so I went to my first therapy session and she actually said to me, and I feel like therapy is one of those things that most people go, yeah, no, I don't need that. But if you find the right person, it's just having the conversation in a different perspective. It's finding that right person that can talk to you in your language. Everyone speaks different languages, right? So it's finding the person that can speak to you in your language. And I'm just a no bullshit. I'm very hard to offend. I don't need people to sugarcoat things. Just tell me what it is so I can go, okay, and then fix the problem. So got through a little bit of my story and probably delved a little bit into, and probably just for another day, but like at 19 I had a sexual assault that led to me falling pregnant. I decided to have a termination with that. Maybe there was a little bit of guilt around the fact of there are so many women that struggle to have children, and I was just given these 2 kids and it just happened so easily. So a bit of that guilt of going, well, maybe I don't deserve them because I chose to give that up. So feeling like there was a lot of that in the situation, and she said to me, okay, do you want my honest opinion? I said, well, yeah, give it to me.
That's why I'm here.
Like, fucking hand it to me, sister. And she said, you don't have postnatal depression. You have control issues. I was like, well, fucking tell us something we don't know.
Wow.
But she did. Even though we knew that, it was hearing it in a different perspective. And she
from
said,
a professional, sometimes that just helps.
yeah, and from that previous experience, I feel like that's where I really started to change in regards to having the control issues, because I had no control in that previous situation. So as a protection, I had to always be 50 steps ahead. I had to read the situations. I had to know what was going to happen. And with kids, you never know what's going to happen from 1 millisecond to the next.
No, you're walking on eggshells, aren't you?
Absolutely. So yeah, she basically gave me 2, actually. So the first thing she said to me was like, you're going to go home tonight and you're going to leave the dishes in the sink and go to bed. I was like, you can go fuck yourself. I'm not paying for this.
No.
It's like, not happening.
The dishes.
But it was the fact that she said, I said, I'll wake up tomorrow morning and I'll have to go do them. She was like, yeah, but you'll wake up. I was like, okay. So that was hard. So the other tip that she gave me, though, was that I wasn't connecting with my kids because I wasn't being present. So something that she told me as a tool, which I actually tell a lot of people that are having trouble connecting with their kids, because if you're not fully present in the moment, especially your little ADHD brains and you're constantly like 50 steps ahead, right? She said, you always know what you need to do, and you know what you need to do 5 steps after that. At some point, though, there will be time that you actually don't have to do anything. Whether that is 5 minutes, whether it's 15 minutes, whether it's an hour. Set yourself a timer on your phone, put it down, and you know that when you need to go do that next thing, the timer will go off. And you need to just let everything else in that moment go and just be present with them. And with kids, we know that it's not even just about engaging. It's just about sitting in the room with them just feeling your presence as well.
Well, that's time blocking, right? You're time blocking time in to hang out with your kids. Like last night, my girls wanted to do this full performance before bedtime. Did I want to watch it? No. I've got 50 inbox emails to reply to, but I did it. And I left all of my devices out of the room and I sat there and watched this incredible performance. But I time blocked that time to be there with my girls. And it's about being conscious and going, okay, I actually have to do that now. This is a part of what I have to do as a parent. I signed up for this. I've got to give my kids what they deserve and be aware to make those decisions.
But that's, for me, that never comes naturally. It's always a conscious decision. And that's also energy, which is very tiring to constantly be on. It's never come naturally to me, that maternal instinct of I won't let them die. I'll do the things that we need to do, but I'm doing the things. But the hardest thing for me has always been connection with kids.
So how did you connect with your business through that time? If you're struggling to connect with anything, how did you come up with this idea of starting a business?
Because I love to connect with people, and I felt like I was lacking that. So
like other women in the workplace,
just in general, not even staff. At that point, it was just me on my own as a cosmetic tattooist, and so I was doing that for a couple of years, and that just went bang very quickly as well. So that's a separate business to Tiny Tatts Co. And then I had that for a couple of years. I dabbled in going into a commercial space. I had a business partner. That turned shit pretty quickly because then COVID came. And I feel like a lot of people really worked out the true values of a lot of people during COVID.
Yes.
I feel like if you want to get to know someone, just have
throw them into
the world
pandemic.
ending and and then you actually work out who's there for each other and who's every man for himself.
Yeah.
That was actually one of my lowest points because that was someone that was, I considered a very good friend. That completely turned. And I also then worked out very quickly how to sniff out a narcissist. I had never, I've clearly experienced them in my life, but I'd never been able to nail that and pinpoint that. And now can sniff a narcissist out a mile away.
And it's interesting when you go into business with a friend. I've been there, I've done that. Never again, ever. The lessons, like at that point, like you said, you were so low. I've been there, I felt that. I was like, the world is ending. But when you really, truly look back, I mean, I'm like 6 months on, I'm like, thank God that happened.
Everything happens for a reason, which is shit when you're in the thick of it. But if you can try, this is where that victim mentality comes in, right? And you sort of go, yes, this happened to me. Yes, that's shit. Like you need to still be able to go, this happened, right? Not just brush it under the rug because you still got through that point, but choosing to get through that point. And sometimes it's just you wake up the next day. It's not any big plans to get through it. You're not doing these massive things, but it's just waking up and going, okay, I'm here. Let's start the rest of the day.
Let's go.
So, and at that point, I had then moved the business back to home. COVID was happening and my husband was still FIFO internationally. So then we had a 2-year-old and a 3-year-old. I had my business I was running from home because of the international COVID regulations with quarantine at that point. He was away for 3 months and home for 1 month. So that was great fun. Fantastic for mental health.
Highly recommend.
Highly recommend, yeah, 0 stars. So that got me to my lowest of low points where I had those suicidal thoughts. And for me to recognise that I had got back to that point, there was just this one day that I was just sitting on the couch. The boys, being toddlers at that point, they were just ripping toys out of the playroom. They were throwing them into the toilet. There was just like
chaos.
Absolute chaos everywhere. And I just sat on the couch and I just went, I don't want to be here anymore. And my husband actually called me. And it was at that point I realised I don't even know how long I was just sitting there for. Like it was almost like a movie and all this stuff was happening in the background. And I was just frozen to the spot. And I just broke and I just went, I can't do this anymore. And he was overseas. So you can imagine my husband knowing that his wife and 2 young kids are at home with this person that's just like, I don't want to do this anymore. So I'm very, very thankful that I've got an incredible family. And literally within 20 minutes, my husband was like, do not move. He's called my parents. My parents, my dad has come over. He has literally scooped me up, packed up my shit, packed up the boys, gone to their house.
Let's get out of this environment and let's go.
So fast forward to, anyways, I've done the work. I've sort of come back from that. And it was just a daily conscious effort just to wake up and...
One step in front of the other.
Yeah, absolutely. Which I then was like, I'm never going into business with anyone again. I had some people that were like, just come in and rent this space and this and that, the other. PTSD. Yeah. Like, seriously, was never happening. So it was no thanks. I just need to really focus on me and being able to be okay with that. And just go, no, I actually can't give anything to anyone else right now. I need to focus on keeping myself alive. And then each day it just got a little bit easier, like still fucking hard. And there are still days where you have low days. I don't feel like it ever fully leaves. It's just I feel like the shit days might just get a bit further apart. And then you'll have a day. And then it'll be amazing. And then you'll have a day. But we're human. And it's sort of also giving yourself grace that not every day is going to be fantastic. Yeah. And that's okay.
And if you have that idea, though, that every day you wake up and it's just going to be 10 out of 10 day, you are dreaming. You're setting yourself up for failure.
But if every day was a 10 out of 10 day, how would you appreciate them?
And how would we grow and learn and adapt and become flexible human beings?
Yeah. So you need to have the shit to learn the lessons for growth.
Yeah.
So anyways, I was working from home again. I decided to reopen the business a little bit. And then I just had clients asking me about doing little tattoos on the side. And I was like, no, because what a lot of people aren't aware of is that with body art tattooing, there is completely different licensing, insurances, so much more that goes into doing body art tattooing than cosmetic tattooing. Similar council licensing, but no one sees the background of that.
So you're telling me that all the backyard tattoos are illegal?
Sorry.
At all the parties?
No,
like,
they're
come here.
they're so good.
So good.
But yeah, I've even had people asking. So I'm really excited. Just segue to we've just launched tap parties, which
Yes, I saw that on
gonna be
Insta.
so
Love.
fun.
Can you
So-
explain what that is?
so-
Okay, so hang on quickly.
yeah.
Fast forward. You did all of the work,
Yeah.
and then people were asking you.
So I was like, no. And then my youngest started prep.
Okay.
And I went, okay, I've got a little bit more time now. I'll do it for 12 months. So I was literally just like, I'll give myself 12 months adding on these little tattoos and we'll see what happens with that. And going from fine line, doing the cosmetic tattooing into fine line body art tattooing, I sort of quite naturally progressed. It is a little bit of like it's a very hard one in the industry because there's a lot of stigma around the right way to become a body art tattooist. But there's not a lot of legal ways that you need to go into to become a body art tattooist. It's actually very unregulated. It's, a bit scary. But looking into that, I went, okay, I'll give it a go. And then I added it on within a week. So my intention was that people come in, get their brows tattooed. Whilst they're numbing, we'll add a little tattoo on the side.
Cute.
That was the intention. And then within a week, I was inundated with messages. And then I was like, okay. Within a few weeks, I was like, what the fuck is actually going on right now? So I actually then decided to birth Tiny Tatts Co. because I wanted to separate it from a fine line cosmetic tattoo business. So just to see what happened with that. And I very quickly found that there was a space on the Sunshine Coast missing where you could have the boutique, high-end feeling tattoo studio. You could have all the female artists, the safe space for people to come in, get their first tattoos, not feel judged by wanting to wear numbing cream, getting a little tattoo, and just being like, well, you're not worth my time. Tiny Tatts was about making sure that your value wasn't what you were spending in studio. So every person that walks through is valued the same, whether you're getting a full sleeve or whether you're getting your first little tattoo this big, everyone is valued
Like
the same.
these.
Like those ones, yes. So yeah, that I just went, that needs to happen. And so that was the intention of, it was just going to be me. And very quickly I went, okay, there is more to this and I need to
Explore that.
Yeah, and that was fucking scary.
Transitioning from A to B or transitioning to
Just
A
in
to B,
general,
really.
because then I'm going, okay, I've got the PTSD from all of these previous business
Yeah.
experiences, and but I feel like without those, I wouldn't have learnt a lot of lessons about really staying true to my why, staying true to the values of it.
What is your why?
My why is making sure that everyone feels valued and there's no judgment around anything, and that people are people and you can have connections with people, but genuine connections with that. And I want that to be a ripple effect through the industry.
It comes down to community, doesn't it, as
Yeah.
well?
Yeah. So
Building a community where people, they trust you, they trust your business.
yeah, but also for not just even for clients, but then I sort of went, okay, if this is growing, I'm also going to need to have staff.
How many staff do you have now?
So 6 months in, I have 3 staff.
Yeah.
So that, it just went bang very, very quickly. I
And
wanted
they're
to
all
really
tattooing?
Yes. So I'm still doing my cosmetic tattooing as well, but they're all based on the body art tattooing because there was just this space missing where people could come in and ask for those things, and there's not a minimum spend. You don't come in and just go, oh.
You don't need to book 6 hours or a full day. You can just come in.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's interesting because even people that book in for their first tattoo, they sort of come in, everyone's very nervous because of the stigma of what it means to get a tattoo and the pain factor, but fine line is completely different to traditional tattooing. So we've got people in there getting their first ever tattoo, freaking out, and then they sort of get into the studio and they're like, okay, I'm nervous, but
I can breathe.
like,
I got this.
Yeah, and I'm a hugger, which is
I love that you're a hugger.
potentially weird, but
Oh,
as soon as
hugger's
people
good.
walk in and they're just like, oh,
Okay,
hi,
let's embrace. I'm Susan.
we're doing that. Okay, yeah. So it's just creating that safe space of just going, okay, I'm looked after. Like this is a genuine connection with someone, and it's okay to be feeling nervous, and I'm not going to be made to feel stupid about that, because fear is fear. Like if you don't know, it is the unknown that is predominantly fear.
And with fear comes anxiety, right?
Absolutely.
So if you're scared of something, you're anxious because you're unsure of what the outcome's going to be.
Yeah. So trying to give space in explaining things as well. It's not just because we do this all day, every day. Someone walking through the door, it's the first time they've done that. And it's not taking that for granted and giving them the space to feel those feelings, but allowing time to reassure them and holding the space of, we're going to have a look at some different sizes. We're going to have a look at the different areas. It's not just yep, cool, that's the design. Yep, we're going to slap that on there. Is that good? Too bad. On the bed.
Yep,
and
let's go.
Thanks very much.
Next.
See ya.
Yeah.
So
I love that you described it as you didn't want it to be like a cattle station. Is that what you said before?
Yeah. So I feel like that can
next.
which is why we're also by appointment only. So it's, and we do book in advance because of that, but we allow extra time in our appointments because we do get so many first timers, but we also get like matching bestie tattoos and couples tattoos and, well, I clearly can talk too, so I need to allow talking time.
Yes, love a good talking time. So how many days do you work a week?
So the
Managing
studio,
like the kids, everything. What?
I work about 1,000 hours a week.
Love that for you.
Yeah. I've just got at least that 2-hour gap a week
to
that
breathe
I allow for
and
myself.
sleep and go to the toilet.
So I work in the studio Monday, Wednesday, Friday, every second Saturday. So that's where it's really hard, but I have to give the power back to my staff, and there's so much trust involved in that.
I love your team. And tell us, like, with your team, how did you build your team? Like, what do you look for? Like,
I'm really lucky that it happened really organically. Like that is something that I think people were probably attracted to, I guess, my personality, which is predominantly the brand, right? But just in regards to sort of going, okay, that seems like somewhere that I would also feel valued. So my first staff member actually reached out to me back when I was working from home, not realising that my studio was from home at that point. And
was this just on Instagram?
Yeah. She just reached out to me, and there was just, I've very much learnt to trust my gut with things. Like I've had a few different interviews over the months, and there's been things that you sort of go, yep, that feels really good, but then that's not quite right. And it's not because they're bad people, but just maybe timing's not right, or there's just something not quite connecting. And that's okay too. Not everyone's going to be a fit for the business.
And the business might not be a fit for everybody.
Yeah,
so
that even comes down to clients as well.
Yeah.
So it's interesting.
I love that we have that talk all the time.
Yeah, we still get that of the people just going, oh, but I was offered this cheaper elsewhere. Okay, babe, go.
Yeah, like this is what we offer in our business.
Yeah, and it's not just a tattoo. It's the whole experience that you get with that. But basically, I had that person reach out to me, and I just felt there was just this connection there straight away. And I was like, okay, there's something about this person. And I knew that, so we actually started from home at that point. I was planning on then finding a commercial space. And then, but at that point I went, I'm just doing a couple of days a week, so we could sort of trial this and see how that's going. And I felt very good with her in allowing her into my home. There was a lot of trust there, obviously, as well, but she's beautiful. And she has that genuine connection with people. So had her come on, and then found a commercial space to move into. It was actually the third commercial space, because I found 2 others that I was very close to signing a contract on, and then they decided to try and move the goalpost at the end. It's like I was just going to roll over and take that. Yeah,
they always do that.
Just like, no. So I found the right space. And then I had another person reach out to me, who you've met, who's now my PA. She reached out to me to be a tattooist. Yes, little Miss Kitty, she's amazing. And again, there was just something about her, and I feel like you could be the best tattooist in the world, But if you're a shit human, I want nothing to do with you.
Yeah.
So it's about finding the
and
balance.
there are shit humans. Sadly, there are shit humans out there.
Yeah, very, very talented. That is amazing. But I don't want the fake connections. I want the genuine connections. I want the people that actually care about people, because we get so many incredible stories through the tattoos that we do as well. Like, we've got the fun tattoos for sure, but I feel like 80% of our tattoos have got a genuine connection. I never
Like
ever
loss
thought,
or grief.
yes,
or
I never
pain
thought I would
or
do that many tattoos to do with loss. And we've got like lost partners, lost grandparents, lost children, miscarriages. But then we've also got the survivor stories, like cancer survivors. Fuck cancer, by the way. Hashtag fuck cancer. So cancer survivors, self-harm survivors, mental health survivors, and being able to have those conversations and just have a safe space. I honestly feel like every tattoo that we do is therapy.
I was just about to say that.
It honestly feels like therapy. Not just for them, but for us as well, because it's so inspiring to hear other people's stories and people just
Community.
open up.
That's what I said before. It comes down to community.
Yeah.
And hearing people's stories, it's just so beautiful.
Yeah.
Something so beautiful in that. Being able to be the person. My hairdresser tells me things like this all the time, that people come in and offload to her.
Yeah.
And she hears their stories and she's like, I'm actually really grateful that I am the person they've chosen to share this, awful story, beautiful story, whatever story it is with.
Yeah.
I think it's
just a life experience
Yeah.
and there's some of them you can relate to, and others that you just go like, holy shit. But not also, I hate it when people say, I understand. Like, if you haven't had that experience,
you deafs don't understand.
You don't understand.
No.
And even if you've had a similar experience, you might
Still
understand
don't.
what happened in your circumstance. But just, I say to a lot of people at the end, like, thank you so much for sharing. Like, that is so brave to be able to share that as well, and share where they've come from, what's
It's like
actually
what you're doing right
happened.
now. It's brave. You were shit scared walking in here.
Oh, absolutely. Like, having a little nervous poo this morning.
Yeah, but it is. It's brave to be able to be vulnerable and just share.
Yeah, it's taken a lot to be able to talk about things openly, because it's hard to talk about things without reliving the trauma. But getting to that point where I go, okay, these things have happened with me, and I find that there are so many things that happen with other people that were similar, whether that be not feeling like they connect with their kids, sexual assaults, PTSD, anxiety, depression. Like, there's just so many things that are unfortunately so common that you sometimes feel like the only one in the minority, but it's actually a majority of people that have dealing with something. And
What
it's
would
a
you
way of
say to them?
connecting.
Like, what would you say to a woman listening right now that's like, I'm at home, I've got the kids crawling all over me, I'm severely depressed, I'm anxious, I don't want to go back to work for someone else, I want to start my own business, where the fuck do I start? Is there...
Sometimes you just have to take life by the balls, really, and take control of the situation and take a risk, because that's really scary, to actually take the risk. Calculated risk to certain points. Don't just like dump all your money into an investment.
Yeah.
and lose
hope
it.
for the best.
But also, I feel like it's really important to know who's in your corner and to sift out those that are not. So those people that are genuinely there for you, and be open to asking for help. So you need to be able to ask for help, because you can't do everything on your own. Like, some people are great at prioritizing. That's fantastic. That's a skill. But even if you're great at prioritizing and you've got your shit together, your body, your mental health, like, everything can only take so much. So you need to give yourself grace, and you need to be able to ask for help with things. And not be
also,
scared of that.
I feel, find a village of women. Like, since starting Females Doing Cool Shit, I've literally met females doing cool shit and who actually genuinely care.
Yeah.
They care about your business. They want to support you. The amount of girls that... Last night, my accountant booked a rent-a-rack. Did she email me asking me for a discount? No. Just came through.
Yeah.
Fenwick Collective booked a rack. I was like, thanks, babe.
Yeah. So it's those people as well. It's like the people that don't ask for the discounts. Like,
Yes.
it's the people that are genuine there to support you.
Yes, they want to support you. They want to see you do well. And it's about finding those people too, for sure. That's some advice I'd give is when you do ask for help or support, make sure it's from the right people. Because in the past, I found myself asking for support from the wrong people. And it's
People who want to take advantage of the
it's
situation
backfired.
or of success or like whatever that is. But yeah, you need to find the right people that have genuine love for you and what you're doing and support for you.
So moving forward, we'll wrap this up soon. Tiny Tatts, what's the future? What's it look like? I know you just spoke about the parties. What
It's
are you just riding the wave of
I am
like, fucking
honestly
let's go?
riding the wave. Like the growth is incredible. But I feel like now I kind of want to just revolutionize the industry and what it means to have a tattoo studio. The team is really important to me, creating that healthy work culture. Like we go out and we have dinners together and we have some really beautiful open conversations, but it's about building the right team culture. And I feel like that's lacking in a lot of industries, not just the tattoo industry. I feel like there's so many industries that don't focus. They say they focus on team culture. You get the job. There ain't no fucking team culture.
Yeah.
So being able to encourage for me, the women in our space to step into their truth as to what that is and work through their bullshit and work through the hard PTSD things they might have and not have any judgment for each other.
Do you think that also can, this is just me popping off ideas, but that can come with the next generation too of women that want to come into the tattoo industry? Like, do you think you'll see yourself as doing training?
I haven't...
Haven't gone there, done
I will never not consider a possibility. I feel like
I feel like some young women would learn so much from you.
Yeah, but more about the values of it though. So there are incredible tattooists. So I don't know in regards to just training in regards to the tattoo, but more in regards to building a healthy culture. And I would love to have multiple of the Tiny Tatts opening up. Cool. So that's something that's in
throughout
the
Australia or Queensland or like?
Look, there are some things in the pipeline that may be going international towards the end of the year.
Okay.
But again, because we're trying to find the right people for that. So you just sort of have to be open to the opportunities.
For sure.
Explore them. And then,
sometimes opportunities pop up, and like Kawana with Thrifter, I was like, okay, I'll do it.
Yeah, and just take that risk.
Pop up and take the risk.
Yeah. But finding the people that are actually going to make that happen, finding the right team for that, and just also remembering that you're not always going to agree. So it's finding a team where you've got diverse personalities, but you're not going to not argue. Like people are going to argue, but it's the way that you argue that's important, and it's doing it in a constructive way, not taking things personally. Sometimes you sort of go, sometimes we need to put the business hat on, and you get very close with people that you're working with, but you need to not be able to take things personally.
I say to my staff all the time, the number one thing that I love, appreciate and value is a healthy no. Love a healthy no.
Yes.
It's so good. And the girls now say it, healthy no, sorry, Ren, I'm not doing it. They do all the time. I love it. I'm like, okay, babe. Anyone else?
Anyone else? Any other takers?
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. But it's also even, and you would know as the owner of your own businesses, you don't always know the best thing. And you need to be open to different perspectives. And so where there's differing opinions, that's actually a different perspective, which is room for growth. So just because you're the owner, you should still be open to taking on board feedback.
Yeah.
Not just about the business, but about yourself as well. And not taking things personally.
For sure.
As long as the staff, it all comes from the right place. It's all about intention. Yeah.
So we'll wrap this up. Thank you so much for coming on today. I just
feel like this goes on the most massive tangents.
We could talk shit all day, honestly. I would like to ask though, how do people find you on Instagram? What's your website? Do a little bit of a plug. There'd be so many women and men out there that are like, I want to go and get my first little tiny tat. Where do we find you?
Yeah. So Google, Instagram, Facebook. So if you Google Tiny Tatts Co, that tats with a double T. So Instagram, Google, Facebook, and we are our Pioneer. Our flagship store is located on Aerodrome Road in Maroochydore. You'll see our signs if you're driving towards Mooloolaba.
I actually went to get my nails done blue the other day. Anyway, I was sitting there getting my nails done, and I've got this little cowboy boot tattoo.
That was so much fun.
And the girl getting her nails done next to me, she was like, "Excuse me, do you mind if I take a photo of your tattoo?" And I was like, "No, babe, that's fine." And she's like, "Where did you get it? I really want one similar." So I sent her to you guys. So she was like, "I'll follow them on Instagram." It was
Thank
cute.
you.
But definitely Insta is the way to go.
So Instagram is definitely the best way to contact us because we are by booking only. So when they contact us, we have a little quote form because we just get inundated with inquiries daily. Booking in advance, highly recommended. Sometimes there'll be last little minute cancellations. 'Tis the season for sickness. But book in advance. Message us. We love to customise things. We love to collaborate and just make sure it's something that's really special for the person getting it.
Thank you so much for coming on the potty today.
Thanks
I
for
just
having
value
me.
you. I love your story around mental health, being a mum. I really appreciate your time and energy here. So thank
Back
you.
at you, girl.
See you later, listeners. I'm super excited to bring you the next episode, episode 6. See you in 2 weeks.